Hello and welcome to the Thursday show, everybody, here on the Frontline Gaming Network. This is your live show, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about the meta coming up over the weekend. We discuss some of the biggest, best, and coolest events that you ever want to participate in. We're going to talk about what's there. We're going to theorize about maybe what might not be there. While y'all are figuring out how to be the meta, we're going to be telling you how to beat it. My name is Paul Murphy, your host. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri,
Hello, how's it going, everybody?
Dustin Henshaw.
Hello.
Welcome again. I can't wait to get into it. You can see we're some of us still traveling in different areas, hanging out.
Yes.
But we got to bring you the show each and every week live. If you're listening to us after the fact, know that we do this live. Where we got a great chat community. Going to be saying what's up to some folks in chat. They help us out. They help us keep us honest. Sometimes they're at the events that we're talking about over the course of the weekend, which is always cool to hear. If anybody's brave enough to post their list in there or tell us what they think is going to happen, call their shots. It's absolutely awesome.
Somebody Babe Ruth one of the tournaments this weekend. Let's go.
Absolutely. One of the event shout-outs was for a tournament. So Anthony Vanella went over to one of the big super majors in the UK, and now Innes Wilson, his fellow member of 40k Stats, has come over to do a GT in New York. So they're trying to Babe Ruth on each other, and we'll see which one ends higher.
Oh, nice. Speaking of shout outs, some honorable mentions here for the tournament scene that we only cover 2 or 3 tournaments over the course of our show because it's an hour long, and we like to give each one their due. But do want to give some honorable mentions here. Got the Battle of the Bay, Port Elizabeth in South Africa.
That's amazing.
Around 30-ish players, 5-rounder, but we have not seen too many tournaments going on down there, so we got to mention it.
Of course. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, that is neat. And the last one is the Legends Grand Tournament, the Triumvirate from Singapore, 48 players and 16 teams of 3. So a team event. We know that area has been building and building and building. Team tournaments are some of the best 40K experiences you could ever have, and I hope they're having a great time. It's actually in the future over there too, right? They could be playing even as we speak.
That's true.
Correct.
They're actually during their tournament right now.
And the Southeast Asian scene is really bubbling away, and not just off expats, plenty of locals getting involved as well. There actually is talk about making we've got the Australian ATC, which is where every state of Australia sends a representative team, and there's talk about getting Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia involved in that as well, because right now we do have New Zealand sends a team over to the ATC. We'd love to make it like the South Pacific team.
You don't
challenge.
even have to change the t-shirts. It's just APAC team
That's
championship.
right.
You don't
Yeah.
the logo's the same.
Asia Pacific team championship would be freaking amazing.
Oh man, that sounds cool. And once you just kind of announce that you want to do that, you never know what folks may do.
Just manifest it. Just put it out in the ether and see if it comes true.
Well, good luck to the players at those events. Also want to call out the Krampus Claws Brawl from Mahwah, New Jersey. That is in the United States. There's like an old Jersey nobody ever talks about, but the New Jersey,
Never heard of it.
Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, Garden State.
Yeah.
44 players, 5 rounds. There's a whole lot of great players at this event.
Yeah, this one is the one where Innes Wilson is going to, where we're going to be covering this on the show, but unfortunately it got to the deadline to get the stats together and the list was still locked. So see you later. Honorable mentions for you. Moving on.
It is the Shark Tank, though. There's a lot of good players there.
Yeah, Naden, Vanilla, Innes Wilson are there, in addition to a bunch of others. It's going to be that one will be streamed as well over on the Stats Check YouTube page. So if you tune into Stats Check I think it's Wednesday mornings for me, Tuesday evenings for you guys, go over and check out the stream of some of the events over there. Because I think next slide, Joe isn't doing one this week, so if you got to get your fix somewhere, might as well be there.
Hey, what we're illustrating is there's always tournaments going on all over the world. And so, if you're going to a big one and you don't think it's on our radar, hit us up on social medias. You can hit us up in the comments down below. Hit up any of us on our personal things. I'm on Twitter, Warmaster_TPM,
Yep.
or Fights with Dice on Instagram. We want to know what you're up to. So again, let us know hopefully enough in advance notice for Adam to do the research and produce the show. And then we get to talk about it. But there's a lot to choose from out there, but we want to hear what y'all are doing, especially. So let's jump into the main body of the show here. We got the Winter Assault from Boston, Massachusetts, 101 players, 5 rounds. I understand that place is wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Wicked smart.
What are we going to see there?
It's quick and dirty stats here. The Imperial Super Faction. There are 2 Sisters of Battle, 5 Custodes, 2 Astra Militarum, 3 Grey Knights, and 5 Imperial Knights. Space Marines. There's 2 Dark Angels, 1 Space Wolf, 2 Blood Angels, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Black Templar, and two White Scars. Woo, woo. Chaos. There's 8 Chaos Space Marines, 4 T-Suns, 8 Death Guard, 6 Demons, and 4 Renegade Knights. Xenos. There's 4 Necrons, 8 Orcs, 5 Tau, 5 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 6 Tyranids, 1 Genestealer Cult. In Eldaria, there's 1 Drukhari, 4 Harlequins, 3 Assyriani, and 3 Inari, making the faction podium CSM, Orcs, and Death Guard. Topping it off with 8, and then Demons and Tyranids with 6 and 2nd, and Tau, Votan, Imperial Knights tied for 3rd with 5. That's a great spread.
Beautiful spread.
Wow. I got to mention Steven in chat. Steven Mag says his first grand tournament gonna get smashed. You never know. Fundamentals, blocking and tackling and all that kind of stuff.
You'll be fine. You got this.
What are you running? And what's your goal? It's a 5-rounder. You want to go 3-2, 2-3, 1-4. Like, what's your expectations for yourself?
What's the goal? That's the main thing. You set a goal for yourself, and just as long as it's attainable for yourself. Don't overshoot, but I wouldn't say don't undershoot yourself either. Give yourself some credit. Come on.
Boys, there is a bit of mythos, especially on the FLGN, about orcs in the lead up to LVO. Are we seeing a bit of an emerging wave of the greenskins just before the penultimate, the ultimate prize is up for grabs at the LVO? What's going on here? They hit first place on a podium for the first time, I don't know, ever, like since the freebooter list was about.
Don't count them out. We saw them do really well in the finals of the U.S. Open Series, but that was all. You got to also consider. You got to kind of temper that with the fact that was not a 100-player event. That was an 8-player event. Players where I mean, don't get me wrong. Each and every single one of them a winner. Like there's no doubt about that. But it was an 8-player event where you knew what your possible pairings would be over the course of the majority of that event. And while I think the Orcs definitely have some tools that people necessarily haven't been taking advantage of, and when some other things have fallen off, which actually I want to talk about that too. It's like, where'd all the Necrons go, man? It's like they didn't stop being 90+ point scoring machines.
Yeah, that's actually crazy to me. I don't know why more people are playing Necrons still. Like they didn't lose that much. Like did really the king not getting core anymore? Is that just completely it's garbage? What a trash army now.
Before we get too far off the topic, though, is like just that subtle change in the ecosystem, as it were. It might have opened the door for the orcs that, as people love that faction. If there's a way to win with that faction, people are going to figure it out, and so maybe there's that window.
So
exactly. There it is.
Yeah. The window, the green window. But there was this dynamic that Necrons forced upon players. The Necrons forced people to play a mid-board trading game because they would flood the mid-board with Scarabs, Scorpex, etc., and you would have to push them off, or they were going to get 100 points. And so that enabled and really empowered things like Chaos Space Marines, especially Creations of Bile and Empress Children being the upper echelon of that, but they all do it pretty well, of that push in the middle, trade. Sisters is another one there, and funnily enough, Orcs can do a lot of the same things that Necrons were doing in that mid-board trading game, and somehow they can score a few more points while not committing than Necrons. Well, Necrons will get 100 points if they make it to the halfway point of the table. Orcs will get to 80 just sitting in their deployment zone, and people have started to twig. And then that one war turn, when your opponent has been forced to try and get a 12 or stop you getting a 12, and you just push straight on him, dunk him, give him a 0. Like there's a lot of power there.
Now, a lot of Orc war bosses have figured out, the WA is not just about getting across the table. Sometimes it's about stacking up that invulnerable save, and so we've seen that the WA called more often defensively and just maybe just that little switch for a lot of generals is what they. I have 33% more of my army than I expected to have on this next turn of the game, and now it's a whole different game for me.
Yeah, a spot freaking on. Any other aberrations we see in that stats breakdown? I mean, Death Guard. Yeah, 8 Death Guard. What the hell's going on there?
30%
Chaos
Space
Marines.
Marines.
An aberration though. It's an aberration in the U.S.
That's
like in
true. That is.
Boston.
If this was London, or if this was some of the Western European countries, that would actually be kind of normal. We would see,
Yeah.
somewhere between 5 and 9 Death Guard players at the drop of a hat. But has anything changed for their archetypes? And once again, am I talking about that merely grindingness of the current meta being a thing Death Guard can do well?
I think they actually have a lot of play with. It depends on what the lists are, but I do think that the Plague Marine list actually has a lot of play in the meta right now.
You talking
Just
about like
because
50, 60 Plague Marines?
Yeah, 50, 60 Plague Marines, because of their durability, their free equipment that they get it's free points,
Yeah.
essentially. They're getting more damage. They still have some of the most durable OBSEC troops in the game right now, with the Leviathan Warriors being a thing of the
Dropping
past.
off. Yeah,
So
exactly right.
now they're kind of taking their place, right? And they're always -1 damage. So I don't know. I feel like they actually have a lot of play in this. And just a matter of what do you put into that? You have to overcommit 3 squads to kill 1 squad of Plague Marines, maybe.
And that's because they might have Flights Last in there somewhere as well. They could have a bunch of -1s to hit, +1 toughness from psychic powers. There's a bunch of different
trench fighters.
Yeah, trench fighters. Get out the rusty shank on you. But anyway, let's talk about some of the top players in attendance. First up, we have Mr. Steve Pampreen making a long-awaited return. I know, crazy.
That's amazing.
So he was requested specifically by Up on High, by the Lord Director himself, Mr. Heffelfinger. He said, "Pamps is going to this event, Adam. You need to do his." And he's playing Orcs.
I would like to say too that he's like the first American I ever played in competitive 40K, and my God, did he ever make you guys look good? He was awesome.
Nice.
Nice. So he's playing Death Skull Orcs. He's got a battalion with a beast boss on Squigosaur, a weird boy, 10 boys, 2x10 Gretchen, 2x10 commandos, 3x5 tank busters, 3 death copters, 3 squighog boys, 5 storm boys, 2 trucks. But wait, there's more. Here come the steak knives. He's got a patrol, another war boss, 10 more Gretchen, 2x10 burner boys, and 2x7 storm boys. So that is 2 Nus commandos, 3 Nus tank busters, 2 Nus burner boys, 3 Nus storm boys, and a partridge in a pear tree. It is a lot of stuff. It's actually surprisingly very close to just being the battalion that we were seeing a lot of the European players take, especially in the Spanish, in the Iberian Peninsula. A lot of Death Skull's brigades being taken over there, especially for team events. And this is like one step away from that. It's made some different choices. There's no kill rigs, there's no skill rigs. It is literally just how many freaking infantry can I get here, and how many of those are getting OBSEC now that they didn't. And he's totally maximized guys that didn't have OBSEC and now do in this list.
Burner Boys. I love seeing 20 Burner Boys in a list. That is awesome to see. And then I'm assuming they're going to be in the trucks. Like that's just.
I was about to say, are they walking around? Like what is?
They're 100% in those trucks.
Okay. All right.
From inside because they're open top, right? So
yeah,
those are orc gunboats, or
Yeah,
fire boats, or flamethrower. I don't know. There's something cool.
Yeah, so 2x10 commandos, there's a lot of bomb squigs in this. Like there's a lot of little mortal wound dumps they can do upon you. If you have something like a Scarab Occult unit, they can just dunk like half of it with just bomb squigs, little annoying bastards, and then just wade in.
Orcs are also like, oh, I hear flamers are good. Well, we got flamers. We're
Yeah,
flamers.
Turns out, checks Codex. Yeah, I reckon we're on, boys. Yeah, we are. But yeah, I quite like this a lot. I feel like can he just beat the brigade? Can he just do the brigade and save some CP, save 2 CP? Or am I crazy?
Doesn't have enough troops quite. Yeah, he needs 2 more troops.
Well, he's got 10 boys and 3 units of Gretchen. So he'd need. So he's saving on the troops, yeah. But he's got enough elites. He's got enough fast attacks. He doesn't have the heavy supports. That's right. Because the tank busters are elites, right?
Yes.
I keep thinking tank busters are heavy, and so
he has no heavy support.
He has no heavy support. Yeah. So he's min-maxed the fast attack slot and the elite slot to get the most OBSEC infantry he can.
I mean, orcs don't have a lot of great stratagems anyway, as far as like stuff they're going to be using. So command point efficiency probably not the highest. It's probably tertiary on his list of basic needs.
Probably.
Well, the beast boss I know is kitted for bear. He's kitted to be a bit of a fridge, and that being is built for durability. And the war boss I believe is a truck boss and is built for brutal cunning, killy claw, stuff like that. So he'll go in a truck with some amalgamation of dudes, whichever one he makes sense. And yeah, it's going to overwhelm some people, but it also has enough OBSEC that it can just play to deny your primary. And it can do it in like 3 waves. Here's 2 or 3 zeros of you, and then it doesn't matter what I get. As long as they're not zeros, I win the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that a lot, actually. Radio Sante trucks full of burner boys equals flame weavers. Not bad. I like. How about Flame Woggers?
I like that a lot. Next top player in attendance, we have Blake Law, Lord Unbroken himself of Art of War Unbroken. He's playing Imperial Knights. He's got a free blade lance, and there are some interesting choices here. He's got a super heavy detachment with an errant and a gallant, and I believe the gallant has Monarch's Ward. And if I remember right, I think is that the one that makes it into a bodyguard for the errant. Might have to look that up. But it's got 2 Helverins, 2 Warglaives, and 3 Moiraxes with double claws. Are you guys aware what that gives them?
Let's hear it.
Double claw?
Yeah.
No, I want to hear it. I don't. You're looking it up. You're trying to get us to fill time. Is that what? That's...
No. Well, first and foremost, first and foremost, comes with a rad cleanser in each one, which is assault D6, strength 2, no rend, 3 damage. Always wounds on a 2+ unless you're a vehicle or Titanic. What in the meta would make that good? Do you think? Demons.
It's like, what?
Paul was literally,
I don't know how long the pause is going to be. I'm like,
lead the boys, lead the boys to
things,
water.
Actually, yeah.
You can lead the boys to water. Drinking is optional.
Like, what isn't that good against right now is what I was thinking. It's like actually, D6, 3 damage?
Actually, it's really good.
That's a lot of good stuff,
good.
Right?
It's actually really good. Always wins. No rend, so they will get whatever save you get, but if your save is a locked-in invulnerable save from being demons, who gives a crap anyway? Just wound them all on 2s, and every failed save is a dead flamer. It's phenomenal. And in combat, they're going to be strength 12, -3 D6 damage, and each time attack is made with this weapon, -1 to hit, but each time attack is made with this weapon, if the target is a vehicle or Titanic unit, +2 to the damage characteristic. So they are taken to be good into the mirror match. Yep, but then they also pack the Flamer, which is phenomenal, into the Demons matchup, into the Tyranids matchup. I think they're a great pick at the moment. The Double Claw Moirax, chef's kiss.
I know we're talking about the list here, but also let me talk about the player. Blake is just a fabulous human being. Cool to spend time with, cool to play against. He has a beautiful army, so you're going to enjoy the look of whatever's happening to you across the table as well. Just phenomenal.
And just to double check, Monarch's Ward, while another friendly noble household character model is in 3 of this unit, enemy units cannot target that character model with ranged attacks unless it is the closest eligible target to the attacking model. And whilst an armature class model is under the effect of this model's bondsman ability, at the start of the fight phase, they can fight first. So that guy is giving out, that Gallant is giving out Blister Skill 2+, which negates the -1 to hit that the Moiraxes have for the Double Claw, because the Moiraxes hit at -1 with the Double Claw, so they're back to hitting on 3s thanks to the Gallant. And then that Gallant keeps the Errant safe, which is giving out the advances and charges, the +1. It all kind of links together in a nice little lattice for me, and I'm a big fan of it. And just being to your opponent, you got to shoot through this. I believe he's perma 4 up invulned on the Gallant, having to shoot through a Gallant that's not contributing apart from buffs. Unless he's charging, he's not doing anything, and you have to kill that guy before you can scratch the paint on the Errant, which is doing all the heavy lifting. I'm a big fan.
You guys don't want to play on that. Don't want to shoot into that Errant. That's just a pain in the butt.
How's the Errant armed?
Usual thermal. It's got the storm spear at the top, and yeah, just the usual. It's got the helm of perma bondsman ability, so it'll give out 1 permanent advance and charge a turn. Which is the usual, I think, best option. And by having the Monarch's Ward on the Gallant, you can save a couple of CP by not having to give a defensive relic or warlord trait to the Errant. You can just let it be the buff monster it wants to be, and put all the defensive stuff on the Gallant, because they've got to kill that anyway. And then you go a turn or two, you picked up their Retributors had to come out to try and kill the Gallant. Errant killed the Gallant. Cool, Errant doesn't need to be shielded anymore. Off you go, play the game. I like it a lot.
Very good. I'm digging it. Can't wait to see how this list does.
Me too. Last one, we have Brian Berman, a Sister of Silence himself. He's playing Custodes. I had to put this on as soon as I saw this list because it's freaking amazing. But Brian, you've got some cojones, and I hope your army is gorgeous. It is a single battalion detachment. It's got a layer, 2 Knight Centuries. Sorry, it's a battalion. 6 units of 5 Prosecutors, that just being Bolter, Sisters of Silence. 9, 9, 10 Greatsword Vigilator, Sisters of Silence. 9, 9, 10 Flamer.
Flamers, yeah, nice.
Sisters of Silence. And then 9 freaking Rhinos.
For it only took 7 months, but the Rhino meta is officially here.
It's here. It's arrived.
Let's get a graphic. Let's get a graphic for the Rhino meta.
Yeah, where's the graphic? Come on, production.
Yeah, chop. I'm not sure how good this list is. I actually don't think it's that good. I freaking love it to death, and I want it to do well. But the fact is, this is a sisters list that doesn't have any
he's playing. He's
multi-melters.
like his skill's going to get him through every game. In the last 2 games, where
Every
he's playing
single one.
Demons and Thousand Suns.
He's
He's
gonna
going to be like,
laugh.
your powers don't work
Yeah.
around here. You got nothing.
Yeah,
You got bolters. I got bolters. My bolters.
That's right.
I got
That's
and some
right.
swords.
Dude, even like Nids don't love this matchup. Oh, you bought 3x3 zoanthropes? That's cute. They actually do nothing. They do nothing. You might as well charge me with them. They do nothing. Yeah. Did you take a buff on them? Didn't take a buff? Do nothing. Cool.
I hope all you
see-
demon players are proud of yourselves. You see what you did? You see with all the all these flamers and all these lists? This is what you did. You did this. I
Mind
hope
you,
you're happy.
Brian doesn't have a choice. To make a 2,000 point army, he's taken the max amount of troops he can take a battalion, and he's taken literally the 3 units of each of the other 2 sisters units that you can take. So he's maxed out his options.
This is a hero list. Like he used to win some kind of award at that event. I don't know what, but he used to win something.
Dude, he should get high fives and free drinks from every opponent.
Yeah,
just for being a
there you go.
champion. Only thing I'd love to see in this, I'd love to see an Inquisitor just hanging 10 with all the sisters. Would it get the cast?
Inquisitor, yeah, was it?
Would it
What's
get
her
the
name?
cast?
Greyfax or whatever.
Greyfax, yeah, hanging out, or even Draxus. Because a little bit of fights last. But I'm of the opinion, I can't seem to remember, but I think they suffer. Like if you had an allied Psyker in with them, it would take the debuffs. They would be harder for them to cast, right? It's all Psykers. I think it's blanket.
Yeah, all Psykers within 12
I
or
don't
something.
think I've actually read them. 'Cause
Yeah. I got a funny
I'd
feeling
never
this is
see
the last
them.
time I read them. Because I think I had this. I was talking about this for a Teams event, being like, because you want a couple units of Sisters of Silence in your Custodies list, but then if you took the Inquisitor, all of a sudden you can't put the Sisters of Silence anywhere near the Inquisitor, otherwise they don't get ritual. They don't, harder to cast all the bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm a big fan, Brian. I hope you do really well. You definitely deserve to.
I'd be curious to see how this list, because it's very possible this gets just a sweet set of matchups. At this event, it's 30 Chaos players. I think I said Chaos Space Marines, but not 30 Chaos Space Marines, just 30 Chaos players, and then a lot more armies, also like Tyranids that rely on Psyche powers. So
even Eldari a little bit.
Yeah.
could be a problem. So there we go. Look at that Rhino meta coming in. Vroom vroom.
He did it.
Brian's
I
setting
knew
the
it.
stage.
I knew it. Knew it was coming.
Dicky, well done.
Well done, production.
Rocket
Yes,
and roll
there
it.
it
By
is.
Dicky, paying off.
There it is.
He's taking a little bow in the production booth. You can't see him, but he's doing it.
All right. So what's winning this thing?
I mean, if it's not Brian, I mean,
Then
why are we even?
watching, right?
Why are we doing this show?
Why
Right?
bother?
I actually really want Blake to win. I really like Blake's list. I rate it. I would love to play that list as well. So I'm going Blake Law.
I'm going with Orcs Pampreen coming back hard.
I
Just
gotta
dropping
go.
a hero stance when he falls down.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got to go with Blake too. I know he's got a lot of reps in with this list. A whole lot of playing, experimentation, thought behind how he got the list. And again, just another, had the pleasure of hanging out with him a lot over this past year. Got to go with that.
We got some call outs in the chat. Gangrel, he said Dan Walmuth with Yanari is going to take it. So there we go. Nice.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yanari's got it. What's up?
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
are 3 of
You
them.
know what's
there,
in
which
his
is
list?
actually
Put
more
that
than
in the
we
chat.
normally
We'll give it a shout out as we go. Next event we're going to be talking about is the Grand Tournament in Dicanay from Port.
see. Sajun? Oh, you're back.
Oh, sorry. Sagunt, Spain. Yep, that is in
Sagunt.
Europe.
There it is.
I don't know where I cut out. It's probably for the best because I made like a weird reference to Spain, Texas.
Nobody knows that. They just assume that you're pretending to kind of.
Just so you
you're
know,
looking up how to say it. That's why.
just so you know, the United States is literally the reason why I have to put Europe on the end of that, because the United States just has every other country's name of everything in it.
Dude, I
Like
got a double in
Savannah?
Georgia.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. Savannah, Georgia, as well.
Well, that's where it starts, right? Savannah.
There's no other Savannah, right? It's just one. There's just that one.
There is just that one. It is a great one.
I remember I was over there in I was in Washington. No, I was in Oregon, and I wanted to go to. I heard Salem was nearby. I was like, sick. I'll go to Salem. That sounds like a cool place. Turns out it was the wrong coast. There's like 12 Salems in like 12 different states. I was in Salem, Oregon. Which
Yeah.
is like a 6-hour flight. away
Nowhere
from the
near
actual
Salem,
one.
Massachusetts.
No, it's not. It's not. Turns out.
Oh, so here we go. 170 players in 28 teams of 6. Sometimes challenging for us to cover, like do the team tournaments justice, but we'll do what we can. 5 round event. I have to assume that this has the same structure as to where a faction on a team cannot be represented more than once,
Absolutely.
and so that may cause some interesting numbers as we're starting to read out. But you want to, with the fact that we know that there are 28 teams, as a faction gets close to that 28 number, you know it's highly valued in this
Highly
region.
valued.
Yep.
Exactly right. Anything over 14, anything that's taken by half the teams or more is a powerhouse faction. Is
Yeah.
an absolute is one of the best teams armies in the game. You got to assume. Anyway, take it away, Dusty.
You have to assume, yeah. So obviously starting it off, 17, Sisters of Battle. That's right.
It's over
then and
14.
there.
Bang.
It's over 14. First one. Then 8 Custodes, 3 Admech still, 2 Astra Militarum, 2 Grey Knights, and 7 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 2 Dark Angels, 5 Space Wolves, 5 Blood Angels, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Salamander, and 2 Black Templar. I'm assuming you can't duplicate any of those in there, so that's still pretty well represented.
This is real interesting because
Marines.
the Blood Angels do so well and can just be a bruiser in the team format. To not see 10 of them
More.
in
Correct.
this is interesting.
Well, it's
Yeah,
interesting
totally agree.
because you actually have some different play with the different ones that are listed here. Because I'm not sad about any of this. Even the Salamanders have some play into some matchups. Dark Angels have a defensive play. Space Wolves are kind of like a pseudo Blood Angels with a couple other tricks. Black
They're a
Templar
tweener,
can have they're a bit of a tweener too into the Psychic as well, or like anti-psychic rather, and some good close combat. Ultramarines are shooty, so I mean they have play. It's interesting to see them, and a lot of people have Space Marines. If you're trying to fill a team of how many 6, sometimes you just got to find that Space Marine player in your local meta and bring them on. Chaos, there's 15 Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines are good, guys. They're
Turns
good.
out.
Turns out they're pretty good.
People seem to like them.
People seem to like them. 9 T-Suns, 8 Death Guard, 14 Demons. Demons are good too. There it is. 4 Renegade Knights. Xenos, there's 11 Necrons, 13 Orcs.
Yeah, baby.
9
What a
Tau,
resurgence.
2 Votan. Yeah, that's Orcs are just really coming back overall. Like, what happened?
Well, these are the boys that started it though. The Spanish meta was, I legit think, a month or 2 ahead. Because remember, about 2 months ago, we were talking about, there's like 3 weeks in a row we had a Death Skulls Brigade on, or a Goths Rush list coming out of the Iberian Peninsula. And legit, I think they were onto it about a month before everybody else, and now we're catching up. And still, absolute orc powerhouses down there.
All right. Spanish setting the meta. I like it. Show us how it's done, guys. Hive Mind, there are 12 Tyranids, so they used to be like 20, like more than half, like 60-70% representation. They have dropped significantly. 12 is still a lot, don't get me wrong.
Well,
but a lot of people have fallen off of them.
In just saying that, no offense to the actually, no, full offense to the Tunic players. You know who you are. Anybody could Unga Bunga Leviathan in a team event. Not everybody can Unga Bunga a Kraken, a Behemoth. It's a lot harder. And
yeah, they gotta try to do this. Like, I have to think now.
I gotta play the game.
You gotta play the game.
Yuck.
Actually, this is dumb. What a dumb game. And
anybody can deploy 27 warriors and walk them at their opponent and win the game, right? Like, get out of here.
And 2G, so they're called.
Oh, disrespect.
Eldari, there are 7 Harlequins, 6 Assyriani, and 2 Gennari. Meaning the faction podium is Sisters of Battle being the most represented army for this team event. Then second would be Chaos Space Marines at 15, then Demons, and then we're gonna say Orcs too. They're one behind Demons. Like that's incredible representation for Orcs.
Amazing. So,
I mean, percentage-wise, I mean, what is it? Half the players.
Just about half the teams.
Yeah,
decided an orc was worth taking. Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
The couple of the top teams in attendance. First one being Feel No Pain 7+, and it's funny, we've been doing this for so long now. I know the teams now. I know these guys got really close to winning, or almost won the Talavera massive 650 player team event over in Spain themselves. So when I was looking down, I didn't even need to ask my Spanish mates who's going to do well here. I just looked for these guys first up to see if they were there.
I got to give one shout out to chat here before you start those. That one guy says, 2GSC, what's up, holla?
That's right. That's right.
Love it.
That one guy gets it.
We should get a hashtag going for the GSC players. Like
We should.
four arms up or something.
Forearms up, yeah, I love that.
So Feel No Pain 7+. Their 6-pack sits as thus. Got a Yannari, janky double plane MSU Yannari, that being the Hemlock with the Bomber, with the Void Raven in that
A lot of
package.
mortal wounds. The output of that is
Correct.
just to dish out like 2 or 3 mortal wounds against like all kind of stuff. There's like 50 mortal wounds in one turn.
And then it's just got a bunch of MSU melee with the Yin Khan backing it up. Then we've got a Cult of Duplicity T-Suns. It's what you'd expect, 20 Scarab O's. But there's a nice fatty unit of 5 spawn for Paul in there. And I actually put that in the notes as well, 5 spawn for Paul. CSM, we've got Empress Children, 6 units of Noise Marines, and then a max unit of Possessed with a lot of the trimmings and the support characters. Then we've got a Undivided Demons list, Bloodthirster, Lord of Change, and Bellacore plus 14 Flamers, so 5/5/4, then a bunch of lesser demons. A Tau Sept list with one max unit, one like all-in Crisis Suit unit. It's got all the bits and pieces, and then 2 bombers and effective 2 hammerheads, one being Long Strike. Quite a nice little spread there. Then lastly, we just have a Bloody Rose Good Stuff with the difference of it having 6 Paragons. Now, if like we talked about how shocking it is that you can still have 3 units of Repentia, 3 units of Zephyrum, 3 units of Retributors, Battle Sisters, Morven Val, a Canoness, and then find points for 6 Paragons, because that's exactly what this list is. It has everything you usually see, they just like went from having 8s and 9s of Repentia and Zephyrum. Now they got 5 and 6 mans, and then look, we got 6 Paragons. Let's go. Like it's
like
really
a lot of the sisters players just kind of went like, oh, I can't bodyguard Celestine anymore. They're like, oh, what's worth Celestine's points? 6 Paragons? Yeah, throw that in there.
Yeah, 6 Paragons and like 3 Zephyrum, whatever. 6. Let's just go. Let's go. I think Paragons are a beautiful thing to have in teams, though. I think they really become an X factor and shake things up. What do you think of the 6-pack, boys? Notably, this one doesn't have orcs.
A little sad about that, but the 6-pack is pretty slick.
Well, if you think about Talavera, which was a couple of months ago, you would be stunned to see one of the top teams not taking Necrons, not taking Nids. And then in this meta, not taking Orcs as well is actually really quite interesting.
I think that the Tau is a bit of a like against what the meta might be right now, going with the one big unit of Crisis Suits and then the Long Strikes. Bomber's a good call there. The Bloodthirster, I think, obviously, like the list is built around the Bloodthirster. It's quite possible they can match up into armies that just have no way of effectively dealing with that, giving them a win. I kind of look at, so when I'm going down the list here is like how many auto wins do they have? I'm seeing what could potentially be 4 auto wins. So that seems like a good team to me.
It's a very good team. That Empress Children's list is really hard to quantify. You have to have a list that beats it, and usually has to be a ranged list. And then, of course, they've got 2 really good defensive put-ups, that being the Sisters and the T-Suns can both be put up and fight just about everything for points. And then you have the Tau. If let's say you're playing against a team that has 2 Knight lists, and you're like, well, one of them has to go up early, and that one's going to have to play against our Tau and get absolutely rolled, or this other, this turd sandwich. You can have this giant douche or the turd sandwich. And one of them is the Tau list that's going to scare the pants off you. Otherwise, the Tau can go up as the aggressive put up early in the matchups and just be like, light table, I go first. Doesn't matter who it is. Bada bing, bada boom, we're going to get a win.
The team comp is really good. The only thing I would like to see different is that the T-Suns taking the Flammers in their list instead, and the Demons list making more of a Knight list that is made to fight the mirror match as well.
Yeah, it could be a Strike and Shield Knights list. The other thing I thought of was that the Knights, the Flamers go into the CSM list, and the CSM would have to become bile at that stage to get them in legally at the WTC, I believe. But then that's fine. That's the merely grindy list, and then the Demons becomes Nids, and I think that would be
or Nids. Nice, that was the other thing too.
Yeah.
But that's they're really solid as they are. That's just the only one that's kind of like
exactly. It's just much of a muchness stuff. There's nothing wrong with this pack whatsoever. This is just much of a muchness. Next top team in attendance is Tresmus, which I know we've covered a bunch of times for Spanish events as well. So I just wanted to check in with 2 of their big teams, see how they're going. They start off their 6-pack with a Twilight Harlequins list, a little bit more on the MSU side. This is only 1 max unit of troop, and then 8 small units of troop in boats. Then they have a Behemoth Tyranids list, which I'm going to have to ask you to unpack for us in a moment. This one,
I don't even know what Behemoth does anymore.
Yeah, exactly right. We haven't had to learn because no one ever played it. It's got 65 Hormigants in in 4 units. So it's 4 units all sitting
somebody's
between
doing it.
all sitting between the 14 and 17 Hormigans in each unit, and there's 4 of them. 2 units of Zoanthropes, 2 units of 2 Neurothropes, 2 Harpies, and a big unit of Biovores. This looked to me like someone who wanted to gum up the board with Hormers while they do a crapload of mortal wounds. But I'll ask you at the end of the 6-pack to unpack it for us, Dusty. We've got a Khorne and Zench split Demons with Bloodthirster and Scarbrand, Be'lakor, 16 Flamers. Then we have Leagues of Votann playing the Glom, the Ymir conglomerate, and with
That's
2.
the go-to now, eh?
It's just 2 max.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 max units of bikes and 2 land fortresses. That's pretty much everything else is just the good characters and the troop units. It is a single patrol, which I think is actually what a lot more players. If you're not taking 3 units of bikes, not taking 3 land fortresses, I like the patrol a lot. Blood Angels, next up. You'll be very happy to see these guys made the cut for a top team, Paul. We have Dante, Lamades, 3 into Death Company, 3 into Sangard, and 2 Assault Marines. So essentially, it's just everybody with a jump pack. Everybody that can take a jump pack, take a jump pack.
Well, and also the secondary play here, too,
Correct.
being able to open up, unlock that Death Company secondary as an alternate way to score some points if necessary. I like it. The only thing that I would like to see here is a random librarian with a jump pack. That's
Yeah, I would like to see the Whirlwind. I like the Whirlwind going into this. But I suppose in teams where you can just pair the guy away from Emperor's Children, stuff like that. You're like, well, I don't need the Whirlwind.
That's what I was going to say. In teams, I feel like you don't need it. Same reason you wouldn't always need like 5 up or 6 up, 5 up to mortal wounds, because like in a team event you could avoid the Thousand Suns, but in singles, when Thousand Suns are really popular, then you're like, now I kind of think I might need to include it just to give a bit more durability against the mortal wound spam.
The way team events work is that you put up a list and your opponent puts out 2 things to face you. So if you're worried about getting put in that position, you put it up. They don't have 2. You pick the other one, obviously. So there's a little bit of shielding in that. So that's why the Whirlwind is questionable in a team event, probably mandatory at this moment in a singles event.
For sure.
Last out of the 6-pack is another army of T-Suns Duplicity with 20 Scarab Cults, and then 5 1/1 spawns. So 2 singles and a 5 just for Paul.
Love it. Spawn, what's up? Look, if you're playing out there and you're not playing with Spawn, and you can take them.
Well, that's what you lose when you get the Flamers in. Like, you're like, where do I cut points? I'm like, it's probably the spawn go, right? But you get it's fun. It's interesting that both of these teams didn't take Necrons, didn't take Orcs, both took T-Suns, mono T-Suns, like not even chuck the Flamers in them because they wanted to take Demons. So I think it's pretty telling how people think Demons are going to start fitting into their team's environments. They think they're good enough to push out freaking Necrons. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
So knowing what we know about the faction makeup and really playing, I guess, Monday morning quarterback on this, I'm going to flip it up a little bit because there are 28 teams. We've only highlighted 2. It'd be very difficult for us to pick a winner, of this outside of with the depth that we know it's in that area. Knowing what you know about the factions there, what would be y'all's 6-pack of factions you would take going into this event?
Ooh, that's a good way to do this. Good job, Paul. This is why you're here.
I think it's clever. I'd go Kraken Nids, Bloody Rose Sisters, of course. I'd go Creations of Bile. I would go just a Freeblade Lance, just 1 Errant and all smalls. I'll sum up to 4. I would go the Death Skulls. I think they're quite good here. I'd go Blood Angels. I said 6-pack. Already done.
Yeah, it's like you're still
you're still going.
And I'd have 2 more teams. Yeah.
I was going to go to 8. But yeah, Necrons, Bile, Freeblade Lance, Death Skulls, Sisters.
See, I'm going Necrons, Harlequins, Tyranids, Blood Angels. Probably something like a Eldari.
Well, a Yunari or a Craftworlds or a...
Yep, and then Sisters. I think that's what I'm doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Dustin?
See, neither one of you said Votann. That surprised me.
Yeah, I would
actually throw them in there because I think they have some bad matchups in singles, but I think they're a bully in team events. If you skew those lists, they can be a huge bully. So I'd go Votann, Quins, Nids. Hotan, Quins, Nids. This is hard to do when I'm not actually looking at all the factions in there.
I would like demons. I didn't say demons, but I think any demons need to be in there too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have either a Chaos Space Marine list or a T-Sun's Flamer list. I wouldn't have both, but I'd have one or the other likely.
I'd be bile with demon. I'd be bile with flamers.
Yeah, bile with flamers. I feel like is what I'd probably go with. And sisters, did I say that already?
Yep.
Damn it. Necrons. Necrons. That's what I was missing. Necrons.
There we go.
Tau. That's the other one.
All right.
If you wanted to meme it up, this is a 5-pack you could do. I don't know what the 6th is, but you could do Renegade Knights, Freeblade Lance, New Guard, Votan, Tau.
Yeah, an Inquisition.
And and then and the 6th, who cares? 2 of your opponents are getting tabled. We'll see what happens on the other 3 tables.
Yeah, I'm actually curious too. You said Creations of Bile. Like minus the Flamers, why do you think Creations of Bile is actually the way to go right now?
Because I think in teams you can just pair them exclusively you put up a melee army, you get your choices of Creations of Bile, which is an auto loss, and this thing we actually want you to play. And I think they're just a great pairings tool to mess with your opponent. And then if they end up on the back end playing a Tau on a heavy table, you don't care. You score well anyway.
You know what those 65 Hormigons do, eh?
Dude, tell us the breakdown.
Yeah, I forgot. Actually.
What even is Behemoth? What does it do?
Well, the main one is you get +1 strength and basically the first round of combat, like charging, heroic, whatever.
Awesome.
So you get +1 strength. Already Hormigons are going to be a lot better that way. Their psychic power is +1 to wound in close combat.
Oof. On the unit or the opponent?
I'm pretty sure it's on the unit you're using. Yeah, your unit gets the +1 to wound, I'm pretty sure.
That's much better.
And their strat is fight and death. 2 CP unless you're Endless Multitude. And you know what Hormigons are? Endless Multitude.
Is that
1 CP fight and death?
Is that +1 to wound? Is that until your next turn? So technically you could get 2 turns.
Yeah, it's a psychic phase. So yeah, you'd be able to do it on your turn, and then when they fight you, you'd still have it kind of thing. I'm just going to double check that it's.
You are correct. I'm looking at it right now.
You're looking at it right now, yeah.
It's a blessing. So it does go on your unit, and then you chuck that unit down their throat. If they're a melee army, they're going to have to cop the trade.
And now the adapter that it comes with is reroll charges, but you might have switched that out because there are some good ones you can give them to make the Hormigons a little bit juicier. But reroll charges is pretty good.
I'm a fan. I like this build. I think this is sick.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break with a word from our sponsors here on the Frontline Game Network. Check them out. The other shows in the network, check them out. Then we're going to come back and talk about one more event. After that, we've got our world famous palate cleanser. You don't want to miss it. We don't know what it's to be about. You don't know what it's going to be about. It's going to be exciting for all of us. But that's after the next segment we've got. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
At Frontline Gaming, we make the best tabletop gaming mats in the universe. Our mats are durable, rollable, foldable, wipeable, and storable. Oh, and they look damn great too. Join the thousands of tournament regulars and garage gamers who use our mats to bring their gaming surfaces to life. To ensure quality, Frontline Gaming mats are custom made one at a time, printed with high quality ink. Our immersive designs stay crisp and are available in a wide range of styles and sizes. So whether you're playing a war game or a skirmish game, whether you're fighting over an alien tundra, fantastical forest, or real-world setting, there's a great-looking battlefield for you. Our gaming mats are printed on extremely durable neoprene backing, so they won't slide around the table, and they're thick enough to stay flat, protecting what's underneath and allowing for slight uneven surfaces. We know from experience that an easily portable gaming surface is just better. Every mat comes with a sturdy nylon zip-up bag for storage and transportation. Whether your next battle is in your home or at the local game store, you'll be able to unroll your FLG mat and get gaming right away. Our products are all made and tested by passionate gamers at Frontline Gaming HQ right here in the USA. It's time to take your battlefield to a new level. Frontline Gaming, champions of tabletop.
And we are back, everybody. Before we get into the next segment, I want to bring up, especially if one of us are doing something, want to give it a shout out on the screen. And so if you are want to hang out with Dustin for a weekend, Stud or Snotling, February 11th and the 12th, Warhammer 40,000 event happening in Canada, which I hear is north of America.
It's close to America. It's pretty close.
It's definitely somewhere near London.
Somewhere,
It is a distance from London.
No, you laugh, but there is a London, Ontario, an hour away from us. So it actually,
I knew this. I was doing it on purpose. It was a bit.
Damn
it was
it!
good.
I thought you didn't know, and I was like able to get you with it. Damn it!
This is the Grand Guilf Banquet and Event Center.
It's actually a great event center right now. It's massive space. We have room for 160 players. We got a bunch of American players coming already. Some big names up here. We got a bunch of the Canadian top level play. It's going to be amazing again. This is the second one we've run. The first one was won by an American. So I hope you Canadians are come out here and give them a run for their money this time, because my God, man,
it's going to be won by an Australian this time, because I'm going to.
There is an Australian attending this event. Our very own Adam Camilleri is going to be there. So what's your excuse for not being there?
It's right. I mean, top 10, please. First place, sure.
Well, I mean, we know it's a wonderful event. You put a lot of emotion into it, and so this is one of those ones where tournament organizers, their primary motivation is to make sure players have a good time. And we know that you have that too, and so when we can talk about it and get some attention on that, we're going to, and we hope that y'all listening want to check it out. And if you can't be there in person, you check out what's going on at the event. You come in and hang out with us here and hear more about it as we lead up to the event. It's going to be cool talking about it, and then talking about what you're going to see there. And y'all want to be a part of that? Maybe we do more than 5 list for that event. We'll see.
Oh yeah, just search anywhere Stutter Snotling. You'll be able to find it on there to buy those tickets. And Guelph, Ontario. You might have to look up where that is, but there are hotels there.
The next event we're going to be talking about is the Mensa Masquerade from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. I love the name of that event. 28 players, 5-round event. What's happening there?
Okay, let me interject for a moment. So I'm going to be at this event. This is one of my hometowny ones. Don't worry, we're not covering my list.
Well, there's no.
We should. I want to know what you're taking. I want to know what.
I'm actually playing Grey Knights, so
there's one Grey Knight player.
I knew it had to be something.
You always have to be a snowflake.
I needed a palate cleanse from the Dark Angels, so I needed a refresher before I go into Uprising in the LVO kind of meta.
Right.
Anyway, Mensa is usually one of the shark tankiest events of the calendar year in Australia. Most of the WTC team usually attends. There is a couple. There is I think the TO is from the WTC team this year, and also Liam Hackett's going to be there. Matt Morrisoli's going to be there. Myself is going to be there, and a bunch of the best players in Victoria, Queensland are coming down as well. So this is only 28 players, but about half of them, if not maybe 2/3, are at the national representation level, and so this is one of the hardest events of the year. Some people say we have an Australian Masters event, Invitational, and a lot of people say this one's the actual Australian Masters some years.
Big
so
Papa
this is going to be a big one.
Says totally forgot the Grey Knights are a playable team.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot too.
That's not good. It's right. They have been taking a back seat when the Thousand Suns got the what's up, So
jump in when you're ready.
Okay, good now? All right.
You good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imperial Super Faction, there's 1 Custode, 1 Astra Militarum, 1 loser of a Grey Knight player, 5 Imperial
Trash.
Knights. Space Marines, there's 3 Blood Angels. They know what they want down there.
100% Space Marine representation.
100%.
Faction. Approximately 90 Sanguinary Guard represented.
Approximately, yeah. Chaos, there's 3 Chaos Space Marines, 3 Demons, and 1 Renegade Knight. Xenos, there's 2 Necrons, 1 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 2 Tyranids and 1 Gene Stealer Cult. Eldara, there's 1 Drukhari, 3 Harlequins, and 1 Asuriani. Then that means the faction podium is Imperial Knights topping off with 5. Harlequins, CSM, Demons, and Blood Angels in 3 with 2nd. And that's everybody else. The rest. 28 players, that is a beautiful spread. Absolutely.
Very nice. Really weird to see Imperial Knights being number 1. I'm not 100% surprised. I know there's one of the gentlemen who wants to be on the WTC team for next year, and he's playing exclusively Imperial Knights. His name is Will Minton. People looking at the list, he's always on the cutting edge of the Knight tech, and he's going to be really hard to beat. So yeah, it's going to be a really spicy event, boys. You want me to jump straight into the top players in attendance?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. First up, we have Mr. Matt Morrisoli, ranked second in the ITC in the South Pacific at the moment. He did represent Australia in the championship WTC run this year as well. He's playing Chaos Demons Undivided. He has a battalion with a Bloodthirster, 2 Change Casters, 3 into 10 Demonettes, 3 Nurglings, 3x5 Flamers, and 5 Seekers. And then he has a patrol with Scarbrand and 2 units of Bloodletters. So that is 50 Greater Demons plus the 6 Nurglings, 15 Flamers, 5 Seekers, 2 Big Grouplies, and 2 Little Casters.
If you take out the Flamers as the auto include or whatever, there's actually a few things in this list I wouldn't necessarily expect.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first and foremost for me is the Seekers. They jump out. So the Seekers, I believe I know in there are for the screen clearing. So things when you don't want to, you know how we talk about having a 3-5-5 on the Flamers for that first turn clear? Well, he's like, well, I don't want to diminish my Flamer count because I need 15. I want 15. So he's like, well, what can I put in there that will guarantee a first turn charge on just about every table and clear a screen for me? And Seekers was his solution, I believe. I know he looked into Fleshhounds for a while. He still might go that route in the future. I think he did look at Screamers as well, but found they're hitting on 4+ is a little bit too unreliable. And there are a few more points. But the Seekers I think, are a good choice. Yeah, Seekers do not fly.
The whole Slanesh package here is what I was kind of calling out as being an interesting part. And look, at Artemis D says, go at him. Look at this, man. Okay, he's got demons. You're demon hunters.
That's
What's the
right.
problem? You're obviously going to smash him.
None of my rules work against him.
Hey, he can't respawn against you anymore.
That's true. Yay! Much rejoicing. But Matt's one of the best players in the world, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, he's got the wound gated Bloodthirster, and he's got Scarbrand. I know he has a lot of shenanigans, and he loves denying fallbacks with this army. This is a very good list. It's going to do extremely well. Always scores Reality Rebels and a Psychic secondary. Just like put him in the books, he's going to get a good score. And then the third one could be Banners. He's got a lot of lesser demons. Could be pick your poison if you give up a kill secondary as well.
Let's talk. And Knuckle Matt in the chat says that Slanesh is good, and I agree. It's kind of like an untapped resource. You haven't seen really much of any of them in there, but they move incredibly fast. They got those tricks in combat, and so there's probably a lot of play here for all the reasons that you mentioned, and then the secondaries that you mentioned as well.
We are starting to see a lot of people use the Demonettes as the main troop now as well. So because Demonettes they're actually
really okay.
Yeah. I think Demonettes are the best troop for starting on the table, and then Bloodletters the only ones you really care about coming from reserve because of the Banner of Blood.
And you usually want them with either a Bloodthirster or a Scarbrand and a different patrol, so they get all the core and stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, you need a Khorne patrol, otherwise you don't get to access the no fallback strat, the no fallback warp storm bit. So there's the patrol there. And then I know the change casters, one is usually there to exclusively just try and retain warp storm points, and the other one's there to do a psychic secondary.
Okay.
And vice versa, switch it up as you need. All right, jump down to the next top player 10 is Dean Sinbeck, ranked 7th in the South Pacific. One sec. He is running Black Legion. He's got a battalion, Dark Apostle, Master Possession, Sorcerer in Terminator armor, 2x10 cultists, 5 legionaries, and then a max unit of Terminators, a bunch of combi pliers and melee weapons, and the Black Room in here as well. 3 Decimator engines, my boys. Then 5 Raptors, a Rhino, and a
What are those?
They
those are things that used to be mortal wound weapons, didn't they?
They are still mortal wound weapons. They still dunk a hellacious amount of mortal wounds on you. Let me just pull it up for you guys.
So those are the Forge World Dreadnoughts with the
the Soul Burner.
Soul Burner. I couldn't think of it for the life of me.
Yep.
They are range 24, assault 2d3, and they have 2 of them each. So assault, so usually min 8 shots, 4 shots per gun. Each time the bearer shoots, if any unmodified hit rolls of 1 are made for the attack with this weapon, they suffer 1 mortal wound after shooting with this weapon. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, and a modified wound roll of a 2+ inflicts a mortal wound on the target, and the attack sequence ends. So they're usually reliable for somewhere between like 4 to 6 mortal wounds apiece, and having 3 of them, you can really dunk on some people.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus it down. You basically hose some things down.
Yeah.
Just push them off the table.
I think this list has some issues, and I know having seen Dean play it a couple of times and talking to him, he was really keen on the archetype, because this feels a lot like, we keep talking about this archetype from 8th edition. Remember the essentially the T-Sun's character council with the plague bearers?
Mm-hmm.
And you just get everybody stuck on the plague bearers and smite them to death. This is quite a similar concept. Everything sits behind the Terminators with this Death Ball, Abaddon characters, 3 Decimators. Sit behind the Death Ball. You're not going to make combat with the Decimators without going through the Terminators. The Terminators are buffed to the absolute gills. And so, I'm going to bully the middle and win the game. This list lacks, I think, 2 or 3 elements to play the peripheries. Like, against this list, you're just like, well, I ignore your units of bullcrap. I can't kill anyway in the middle of the table, and I just play all the others. You can have the middle, mate. I wasn't going to take it back anyway, and it doesn't have as much to stretch the table and pressure the opponent, but still, it's a really good bully list, and that's what he's built to do, and that's exactly what it does.
I actually saw Decimators be very prominent in the meta. That this was 2-3 years ago, and then they kind of died. I think it was because of their point increase.
It was,
Yeah.
and then they were waiting on the sidelines when the Chaos Space Marine book came out because they didn't have the right keywords. They needed to update
Right.
the Forge World
Right.
keywords.
Yeah.
To get them back in, and now they're extremely potent, extremely powerful. And then he has a bunch of extra tech in here. The Sorcerer and Terminator armor has the redeploy, has the gem, so he can pick up the Terminators and put them down, essentially teleport the Terminators, which is a beautiful spicy bit of tech. In addition, of course, his Black Legion, he can heal Abaddon, which is really kind of crazy.
That's not cool.
So annoying. You feel so, I guess, demoralizing is what that
It's
is.
so
More than
demoralizing.
annoying. Roll my personal morale check.
At that point, you just don't kill him, unless you can one turn him. Do not bother.
There are plenty of armies out there right now that people are taking that can do that, though.
Yeah.
But it still only takes, if you shoot your shot and you miss, and then it's like, gotta start all over again. And now I have half the units I needed.
Correct. It's really, really rough. I mean, in some games against if he was to play Votan with this army, he could just run. He could just leave the Terminators on a home objective and just freaking run Abaddon at him. What are you gonna do? Come on, let's see what you got. I don't think you can do this. It's really rough if you're a one phase army and you can heal Abaddon. It's toxic, man. All right, last top player in attendance, Mr. Liam Hackett. 2022, won the singles championship at the WTC, won the teams as well as WTC with Team Australia, and he's now the captain for next year's Team Australia. So possibly having one of the best years of anybody has ever had. If he goes to Uprising and wins it, and I think he's coming to LVO as well. I can't remember if he is. If he's coming to LVO and gets a top 8, could be the best 12 months any player has ever had in the history of the game.
Yeah,
throwing down the gauntlet, Liam, make it happen. He's playing Blood Angels, lads.
Oh.
Yes.
With the whirlwind.
I'm not surprised.
He's got a patrol. Dante, Lamartis, 2x5 infiltrators, Sanguinary
He's trying to win.
It's 2x5 infiltrators, Sanguinary Ancient, 2x5 Assault Marines. Then it goes into a Vanguard. This is a Sanguinary Priest, of course. 3 units of 5 Death Company, 3 units of 5 Sanguinary Guard. So small Sanguinary Guard, only 15, and a single Whirlwind. Now, what is crazy about this is you'll see the little word in brackets there next to the Death Company units. What does that read, boys?
All Inferno. Okay. That was not on. That was on not on my list.
That was not on my notes.
Sorry, none of them have melee. They only have chain swords and Inferno pistols on the 3 units of Death Company.
That's okay. The reason I can tell you exactly why you have that. Those are Bloodthirster repellents. Those are the things you buy in the hardware store that shoot 20 feet and wasps.
Yeah.
Killing them.
Also, if you look at what's the most numerous army at this event?
Oh, there we go, man.
It's Imperial Knights
stuff.
Imperial Knights. Yeah. Knights actually, Imperial Knights, Freeblade Lance actually gives Blood Angels a lot of trouble.
They don't.
They absolutely do. You wound them on 4s, if not, you wound them on 4s with your Sanguinary Guard. They're only 1 damage, and they can have a 4-up feel no pain against that 1 damage attack. You
just Forlorn Fury and beat them down with Thunder Hammers. You don't need the Inferno pistols.
Literally the Inferno pistols, I reckon, are Knights tech, Demons tech, and I reckon they're great into Votan as well. Because Votan actually only rend 2 into Votan ain't that great.
Oh, but don't get me wrong. I love the inclusion of the Inferno pistols because what I was talking about with the Thunder Hammers does not work on the Bloodthirster. So it gives you more options in addition to the more range. You can still do all that stuff.
And exactly right. Against demons, you just need quantity. And you have is it 5 attacks each or 6 attacks each with the chainsword?
6 with the chainswords and the assault doctrine.
Plus 1 to wound.
Which the Sanguinary Priest can put 1 unit in assault doctrine from the start, so you just that's the one you zip over. You're dealing something else.
Still shreds demons. Absolutely demolishes them. And the fact is that 1 unit of 5 could go in and do 8 in the shooting phase now, and charge in and do 8 in
I love
combat.
this. Got the infiltrators, which does prevent the deployment within
You
12
need those.
inches of anybody, so you can kind of really control the center. You've got the Death Company there to open up that avenue of. You've got the quantity of Death Company units to open up that secondary for you. So a lot of options when things can go your way, and that just that secondary existing really does help you flip what might be a loss in a tournament. It can take you go from going 4-1 to 5-0, or whatever.
It also allows him to play 3 really stable secondaries. Like you said, it's got the Death Company secondary. Yeah. It's got the get into the deployment zone secondary. Like, who's pushing? Like, it's to have more raw units in theirs and yours, deployment zone wise. Yeah. Who's pushing on Blood Angels? What's this mythical army that gets to push into Blood Angels deployment zone? Where is it?
Relentless Assault is what you're talking about. That does that. It's real. Those are kind of, I don't say they're easy points. They're easier when your opponent is not worried about you scoring them, so you can easily pick up a couple of them in one round 1 and 2, and then you've got to given your opponent a mission to prevent you from doing it.
He's even doubled down upon that. So let's say you played T-Suns and they kept duplicitying units into your deployment zone. Well, you can't do that now. I've got 2x5 infiltrators. Even if you wanted to, you can't. You can't actually stop me. Just putting 1 unit in your deployment zone, take the points. And then it plays banners beautifully. It actually plays like behind enemy lines and other stuff if you wanted to go and stretch it that way. Or
the assault squads really help you play banners because you could actually equip them with things. I don't know how he's got them equipped. Is it whether it be plasma guns or melta guns and a melta pistol, and put another Inferno pistol on them. For no additional points. So you got this unit.
Yeah, they've got melta guns.
Okay, cool. That's the way I would run them too. You got this unit that can do something in the backfield and then jump up and be effective, and then you can also screen with them, like because they're on the 32 mils, so you can really protect your backfield, protect your middle board, and you got all this action happening up there in your opponent's deployment zone. You're scoring all kind of points.
Yeah, Liam is actually obviously known for designing lists that are made to design or get points, but I need to point something out here too, because Liam won WTC both the singles, and he was on the team that won the championship with Necrons.
Yes,
and he switched off them too.
Yes. He did.
I don't think he didn't even use the Silent King in his list, did he? Or the Catacomb?
No.
What the hell?
I will. No, I believe he had it in his singles list.
Did he? I don't think he did.
I can't remember if he had it in his team.
No, it was all Warriors and Ghost Arcs.
Anyway, I can tell you why, because I've asked him, and he's bored. He's just bored.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? That's fair.
He's like, Necrons are really good. They're just kind of boring. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is psyops by Liam to not show what he wants to play for Uprising.
That's
I would not put it. Okay. I would not put it past you, Liam Hackett, to run out and drop $1,000 on a list to just so people don't know what you're going to run. Because I reckon he's running Orcs. Again at Uprising.
Okay, there we go.
If I was playing at LVO, I would start going to my tournaments playing like Eldar.
Mm-hmm.
Dante's a great inclusion here. Dante's got everything you need in this edition right now. The command point, the free, basically give yourself another 2 command points because he'll fight on death for free. He gets a heroic deed stratagem for free, which he'll use as fight on death.
Pick your winners, boys.
Oof.
Come on, if it's not obvious.
It was never the time to pick Blood Angels, Paul. This is the time.
Only time I would, if there was a top player at this event who was taking like Creations of Bile, I'd pick them against Liam. As it is, you just kind of got to pick Liam. I'm actually going to pick Will. I'm going to pick Will Milton, the Imperial Knights player. I think it's his time. He's been pecking around the podium for quite some time now, and I think he might do it. He might do it this one.
All right, let's see what he's got. There we go. So, all right, here's our segment of the show where we talk. This is the Fuego Rapido. This is where we invite production on, where we give ourselves 2 minutes in a series of topics. These topics sometimes have very little to do with Warhammer 40,000. We consider them, again, that kind of palate cleanser at the end of what could be, a very emotional hour of 40K stats. And talking about who's going to win this and what the meta is and what it isn't, and how everybody's doing out there. So again, sometimes these have a theme, sometimes they don't, sometimes it is Warhammer 40,000 related, and sometimes it's just kind of random. But here, we've come to love it. Once the clock starts, we give everybody on the show a max of 2 minutes. We have to figure out what we're going to, our hottest takes for these topics. And then once the clock is down to 0, we abandon it, never to return again.
Ever. Okay.
Temper Sneaky, welcome to the show.
Hello. Everyone's going to LVO, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
First question.
Everyone in
First
the world.
question is gonna make sense then. Over under 12 was heard at 2023 LVO. Over or
Yeah.
under?
Super over.
So many over.
I mean, by lunchtime.
Yeah, on the
Right.
first day over.
Yeah.
12. Where'd that number come from? What?
I mean,
Alright.
50 day one. I mean, because if there's if there is 12 orc players, that's one around for 3 rounds. So
Well, it's
okay,
also
there
that,
could be
okay.
like that's
Okay,
Are we, are we
36.
counting chain wogs, like when one wog and then you just hear it chain throughout the entire event?
Okay,
Is that count?
okay.
That's
So
one.
12 is too many, or too not enough. So is
You.
50 the right number? 50 over under.
It's going to be under 50 herd.
I think it's going to be over 50 for the whole day. The whole event will be over 50. Day one will be probably under 50.
I'm going to say exactly 50 then.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What is this Price is Right
All right.
rules?
all
Because you know
covered.
what?
We
If
got
it's
an over, we
under,
got
I
an
could just
under.
yell wog a couple times and they make it 50.
Ah.
Yeah.
$1, Drew. $1.
$1.
$1.
That's clearly solved. Okay, is it better to be brutal or cunning at 40K right now?
Oh, come on. You can't nail us down to just one. Everybody on this panel is capable of both being brutal and cunning, or cunning and brutal.
Not
I think
orcs,
cunning and
apparently.
brutal is better at the moment than brutal and cunning. I think cunning taking priority over, but you need the brutality. If you're cunning first, brutal second, I think that's better putting
I'm
it.
gonna look. If we have to pick, it is brutal because sometimes some players just can't deal with it. Their army's just not capable of dealing with 1,800 points of your army in their face.
I think it's better to be brutal. I think cunning beats brutal, though.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
You
Solved.
just got to be. It depends on how brutal you are.
Contraire. Yeah.
Jeez, okay. And then he solved it.
I do a lot of talking for somebody with a 2+ armor save. You know,
That's true.
I-
That's true. Keep that in mind.
All right. Does Santa wear red because it makes him go faster?
Obviously.
Yes.
I like
Right.
you just is covered in the blood of his enemies.
Santa Claus. Oh.
What is
Yeah.
your Santa
I do.
mythos?
See, he used to have a white suit, and then with a little bit of like baby blue on
They
it.
just replaced the collar.
Was this
Is that
World
all it
Eater
was? That's
lore?
why that's white spell?
That's right. And then over time, after the centuries of Santa slaughter, is
You watch American Dad, don't you?
is that
What are you reading there? What are you reading, Adam? What's going on?
I'm reading the wiki. I'm reading the Santa wiki.
Okay.
Saint
Santa-
Nick,
Of course there is.
Saint Nick, who Santa's based off, had appeared in numerous illustrations and writings depicting a scarlet coat,
You can't search
They-
the internet.
and they assume that's
you're
where the red
cheating.
came from.
You are,
We got
you
one
are
rule in
officially
this whole
cheating
thing.
at Fuego.
Some
You're
people-
cheating.
Some people alluded to the fact that it could be branding, with Coca-Cola having many of the early depictions of Santa in the United States.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess,
So what's the
we're
answer?
just ripping through. I don't. There's no
Oh, it goes
answer.
faster.
Oh,
It goes faster. 100%.
It obviously goes faster. That's why he does it. That's
Yeah. Okay.
if it, if
Uh,
this is a
He's got to be.
48
You
podcast,
got to be in a lot of places. Actually, I mean, like real
Legit.
talk. He has to.
He has
li-
to.
I mean, we
Legit.
watch the tracker every year about where he's at and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's zipping. He's
What's the shock attack gun? Is a Santa Claus standard template construct. He sucks up the elves and teleports from house to house.
He teleports the elves from house to house.
Not
No,
just
you
the
can have
gifts.
it sucks up the elves into the shock attack gun, and then he rolls
Yeah.
his double sixes and teleports.
Oh.
That's how it
Wow,
works.
and does mortal wounds to the
Look,
house.
I just hope we don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
put on the naughty list.
He
'cause
he AOE's the whole.
He
whole
AoE's the whole house.
Jeez.
Basically, a decam just firing in every house he goes
Just,
to.
yeah.
Lego. All right. What's the best looted orc vehicle you've ever seen at an event?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, well,
I can go
honestly,
last because mine's easy.
It sounds like you need to go first because it's easy.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, yeah, I can go first then. There's a local guy who actually runs a shop where you can buy a lot of the orc stuff that he prints.
Yeah.
But he brought a fully looted Imperial Knight orc list.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I have the answer to this, by the way. It is the Millennium Falcon.
A looted Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon.
Someone is
I'm
Wow,
so
that's
conflicted.
pretty
did X-wing. They did a couple of Star Wars stuff. It is. I just like. I have to take pictures of this. I have to tell the world about this. And here we are, several years later. I'm now telling the world about it again.
I am so conflicted.
I had a guy, and this is I don't know if this is truly counts as looted, but he just had one of the Dino Riders toys from like the 80s, and he just put it on a base and used it as a squiggoth in a game, and I was just like, this seems right somehow. It wasn't converted in any way, because of course it would be sacrilegious to convert a Dino Riders toy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I actually wasn't here for this game. I only saw a picture of it that a mate sent me, and I was just like, yeah, that seems. I mean, that's just like fair enough, right? That's essentially
I
what
feel like
they
that's
did.
one of the few things. Like orcs are something you can put something on the field. Like this is that. Like yeah, that makes sense. And if it's something that you respect enough that you couldn't have converted that, like I will allow that. And it's
Like if
good that's
someone
not
rocked
converted.
up with an original Voltron and wanted to use it as like a Gorkanaut, I'd be like, totally.
Gorkanaut?
Please do. Here's a base you can use.
It'd be like a Riptide, shouldn't he?
I mean, he was painted. The color-wise, it was pretty orc-like. All
Hey, he's a
different colored
Riptide.
and
Come
stuff.
on. Look at Voltron. Search up Voltron, your Google there, Adam. You see what, you see
Jeez.
what he looks
Oh,
like.
you want me to do the Voltron wiki? Is Voltron more of an orc construct or a cow construct?
Yeah, there's
Waggle.
obviously a wiki for that somewhere. Somebody's already talked about it.
We're just ripping through these, by the way.
About looted Transformers. Someone do looted Transformers. Optimus Prime with like
That would be
Gretchen.
badass.
on
It's definitely that's been a thing.
That's been a
Yeah,
thing
for sure, right?
How do you feel about eating mushrooms?
Love them. One of my favorite things.
I don't. I'm a texture eater and I can't do it.
Fair.
Really?
Textured.
But you like burgers and stuff. Don't you put mushrooms on burgers anytime?
I mean,
Like
I
a
know some
mushroom
people
burger?
do, and I will not ever besmirch how anyone chooses to enjoy a burger. I'm just saying it's not on mine. Not gonna be anywhere near mine.
Really?
Yeah.
I freaking love one of the favorite things me and my partner do now is go out mushroom foraging, like in
Foraging?
winter. There's a bunch of pine forests out where we used to live together, and we'll go out there like after a big rain and just come back with like a basket full of pine
You
mushrooms.
legitimately go out and find wild fungus to eat together.
Correct.
That's incredible.
In a continent where lots of things can kill you, apparently.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Try it. I
always
mean,
trying to kill you, kangaroos kicking you.
I'm
I
alive
actually
in
don't know what kind of
I'm
animal
alive
they're.
in Australia right now, boys, and I'm multi-generational Australian. By default, natural selection has taken its course, and here I am.
You know, I'm immune to it now. I can eat mushrooms. I can grab these random red things that look like cherries in the forest. I can eat those too. Everything's fine.
No. We are real careful. We have an app there. We take photos of stuff, and it automatically like correlates, or we look up characteristics of yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow, I've learned
that
something
seems like
new
more
about
work
Adam
than-
today.
than-
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I think that's cool. I mean,
You
actually,
should bring
it's
some to
very cool.
LVO. Have some mushrooms.
Well,
I'm still
I
not
don't
Put
eating
some of
them.
those mushrooms on Paul's.
No,
burger
I will
with-
celebrate you. And if you like, why eat stuff that tastes like meat when you can just eat the meat?
You still have a beef patty, but you just have like
Yeah.
some seasoned mushrooms on top of it. With, like maybe put it with butter, and you can have like salt.
I'll put butter on a burger all day long.
Bit of
butter- I'll
pancetta,
butter lots of
fresh,
stuff.
pancetta, yeah.
bit of pancetta, some
Yeah.
fresh mushrooms, and some fettuccine. Mwah.
Ooh,
Beautiful.
ooh, there you go. That's a
Yeah.
burger. You got to go to like that.
That's a burger.
Put the noodles on the burger.
That's what
There's
would
a lot of
you call it?
carbs.
Italian sloppy
Waggle.
Joe.
Yeah,
that's a burger. Italian
love
sandwiches
carbs.
are delicious.
Italian
off
sloppy
carbs.
Joe. That's right. It's just like
Yeah.
a carbonara fettuccine on a bun.
And the
Hey,
last
hey, that's a
question.
thing.
The last question today. Are you ready for the
where'd he go?
upcoming Mario movie?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. You got to go again.
Are you ready for the upcoming Mario movie?
Oh,
I mean,
Don't care.
I mean, as much as one can be, with
I thought that was gonna hit very different than a hit, but okay, that's fine.
is it? Well, the Mario does not have a good track record for movies.
yeah,
Hey,
he's
the first
0-1
one was
right now.
That first one was amazing.
He's like -1-1.
Oh man.
Love Mario.
I just
Love
love the
games.
optimism of the ending of the Mario live action one and from the 90s where they thought they were going to start a franchise out of that. They thought there was going to be a one, and everyone
You're
was
not
like,
going to believe this. It's like, yeah, it's not
If-
happening.
and then they're like, if you work again, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get-
I would be thankful to see
Well,
John
didn't
Wick
it was like
another
Dennis
movie.
Hopper as
Bowser.
as Bowser, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's King
Yeah.
Cooper. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it's King
Whatever.
Koopa.
Well,
I mean,
okay, it has been a bit since I've seen the movie.
I think
but
there
it
were
was-
like 2 funny lines in the entire movie that made me laugh, and the rest of it was Yeah, and I was a kid at the time too.
I adored that movie because I watched it when I was 6.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It sits up there with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and those
Ooh,
ilks.
that's actually a
that's
good
obviously
movie,
it's actually a
no.
good movie. That's
Yeah,
actually
no.
a good movie.
Yeah.
That
But
said, though, if
it's
I
got that-
if I like watched this the one that's coming out when I was 6, I would be over the moon
Exactly the same.
excited.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sounds
am I excited for it as it is?
Sounds pretty solved. Yep.
Yeah, I'll watch it for
Do
sure.
not care. Just like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, do not care.
There's
What?
another one. Stop it.
The new ones, what the Michael Bay new ones? I haven't watched them.
Oh,
I have no
no.
intention of watching them.
Okay, yeah.
No, no.
There's no improving upon perfection. Like Casey Jones with a
Yeah.
cricket bat.
Mm.
Just bring it on.
Vanilla Ice.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Go Ninja, go Ninja.
Yeah, I
go.
love those movies. By the way, when
The
they were,
original.
Me
was
too.
Great.
and the Turtles too. Turtles. In
Well,
general.
the third one was a little weird, but it was still
Yeah.
I still
It
enjoyed
was funny. The correlations between the third Back to the Future and the third Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Wait a
Think
minute.
about it and
You're
you're
right.
like, huh, it's kind of the same movie, isn't it? And there's no reason those things should ever line up. And they're like, wow, they line up a lot.
Oh my God, you just blew my mind. My entire childhood is put into question now, thanks to Adam Camilleri.
No worries. Yikes.
There we go. Hey, well, that's our show this week. I know we started a couple minutes behind. I appreciate everybody hanging out and watching live and hanging out in the chat. It's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all in chat. If you're listening to us after the fact, like, share, subscribe, throw some comments. We post a show on YouTube and stuff too, so throw some comments down there. And all those 5-star reviews, like on the Frontline Gaming Network, if you leave us 5-star reviews, it helps us for real, helps the network, it helps the other shows. Again, any type of thing that we can get other listeners and come and hang out with us, we really appreciate it.
I have one thing to say before we leave.
Yeah.
A group of a club in South Australia paid a comedian to do a little like hype piece for Uprising, and at the end of it, they demanded shout outs by me on all my podcasts. So this is for you, Yabby Hunters. You sick, you mad dogs. I was gonna swear just then.
No,
You know what
I heard it coming.
You know what I was gonna say.
I knew
you
what you
are
were going to say.
Mad lads, thank you. It was hilarious. You're getting your shout outs. Yabby.
Heck yeah, can't argue with that. But seriously, 5-star reviews. Leave us some what's up. Come hang out with us if you can. If you got the time, every Thursday, come check us out. We'll be here. We'll see y'all soon, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody. Go Ninja,
Bye.
go Ninja, go.